actually funny with how I just ended my Critical Role video, or my recent kind of one, but this is comedians on people being too sensitive these days. And I don't even think the comedians are just feeling that. Like, we're like people who are, honestly, I would say like me and entertainers, just like people who are, I feel like it's everyone. It's everyone. I can't just say it's entertainers, but I feel like even in my videos, I feel that when I go to make a video, because like during live, if you come to my live stream, you'll see it a bit more. Before I get into that, you know what? Welcome back to another video, folks. If you want me to send me anything to react to, you can DM me, leave it in the comments. I just sift through all the comments a lot recently. And yeah, I just thank you for everything. And just going back to that point I was making, when I was saying everyone is feeling it, and then I thought about entertainers, I noticed that like when I wanted to or just do YouTube and just felt like, I feel like, yeah, it's just what I'm meant to be doing, but I didn't want to be held back. And I feel like that was one of the things that worried me a lot, because it played into me, like a pattern in my life, past just ways I viewed the world, a past thing. I'm much more free now of thought, but I cared. This is one of the things that was made apparent in me a lot when I was younger, was that I cared too much about my reputation and how people viewed me. So that stopped me from acting a certain way, or almost being like, I wouldn't say like a chameleon, but a bit in a way where depending on who I was around, I would switch my behavior and moods and acts, almost like blending in very well. Not like in a fake way. It'd be like I'm not going to allow someone to see my whole true self in certain areas. And it was because I actually, like the whole people being too sensitive, it felt like, I don't know, there was just points where I was like, oh shit, like I can't really explain it. Like my true self was a bit like I just was like, I didn't care. I don't know how I'm explaining this. Maybe like, I have videos on my channel, if you go digging, that I explain this much better. I'm not doing a great job right now. It's just better that I just stay on the whole thing, where it's like, yes, the people being too sensitive these days, that kind of hit me in starting my channel, because I was like, okay, there's certain things I talk about where I don't want to just up and say something and like just step on people's beliefs, because I care about anyone's beliefs and what they believe anyways, but like I don't want to make certain jokes and that shit have a rise out of people, because they can't really take it. I don't know. Okay, I hope that made sense.
I swear to God, this might be the noblest of professions. Robin Williams had a bar that I loved. He said comedy is the only job you can have where you can use everything you know. And that's true. You can use more than you know. You can use what you think. Use it. Don't be afraid. Don't let these bitch-ass niggas button your lip. Say it anyway.
How arrogant are you to think that you deserve to go through life with no one ever saying anything that you don't agree with or like? You don't have to pave the jungle. Yeah. You can just grow a pair and have a laugh about it. I mean,
you're offending
I
ideas,
the comedy
but
comes
not people.
first, and I understand. Well, that's the other thing. Yeah. People try and give ideas rights.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're not allowed to offend their. They jump in the way of the bullet and say, "Why are you shooting at me?" Yeah. Right? If someone insults maths, I don't go, "Oh, dare you insult maths?" Yeah. Insult it all you like. Yeah. It works. Yeah, exactly. Okay? If you're so fragile that you think that a joke about someone can destroy it, well, you need something else.
You do, like, truly, how failure is a part of the art is truly, you don't even have to feel like that failure was failure. The failure could literally, you can change how you look at failure. Failure could be, I guess that would be the part that's the part of art, but you can look at it as like, I don't know. I had it on the top of my tongue. The failure could actually maybe be even like the shit that drives you into. I don't know where I was going with it, but I had it. It can drive you into trying even better, like the next time, sort of thing.
You know, especially in a
comedy climate. Are you sick of that fucking question yet?
We were literally talking about that with Mark before you came in.
Mark's in a panic.
Mark's having a tough time.
I'm nervous.
Don't be. Drive the bus right through it.
That's the plan. That's what I've been doing, but it's, you know, you never know.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, when you take due process and burden of proof and you throw that out the fucking window, right? And you give it to a bunch of fucking lunatics who think that they're so goddamn right. I mean, they're insane. They're fucking insane. There's so many people on Twitter that I follow, like, ironically. And when there's like a big story, I just want to hear what the fuck they're saying.
Yeah. How do you spin this? What's
My favorite one
take?
on the Kavanaugh one was somebody tweeted, "I lost male friends this week." And then people were like consoling this person, like something happened to her. It's just like this isn't about you.
Exactly.
This is this poor woman's story.
Right.
And you're hijacking it, and people are consoling you because you're watching something. You're at home. You gave yourself fucking jury duty, and you're gonna sit here and watch this thing that you don't have a fucking vote on and get yourself all worked up. It's some of the best entertainment.
They love it. They love
Twitter.
getting angry. And you know what I never got is the Norm hate, and they go, well, he was never funny. Like, what, are you kidding?
No,
I never liked Norm. Like, what? He's maybe one of the best of all time.
Norm had to go to an apology tour for having an opinion.
Yeah.
Yes.
He didn't do anything. Wow. He just didn't have the opinion that they wanted. And he had to basically, he has to apologize to 15% of the fucking population.
And the Tonight Show canceled them, and they said, out of respect for our viewers, like, what?
I know. People were crying in the
insane.
office.
Who was
like,
crying at the Tonight Show?
It makes no sense. And it's all because he did it in the first interview. Obviously, he was on a press tour.
Stop pointing. That's triggering me.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
As a comedian.
Wow. That sums up everything.
Today, what do you find funny? Because
Holy shit, that summed it up right there. Like,
I think like comedy changes a lot.
It does.
Summed it up.
And now these days, I think maybe we're not allowed to be joking about everything anymore.
Yeah, it's
like what does that sentence even mean? Like these days we're not allowed to.
Because I think like comedy changes a lot.
It does.
And now these days, I think maybe we're not allowed to be joking about everything anymore.
Yeah, what does that sentence even mean? Listen to that. Like, you know, I really feel for comedians because I'm not a comedian. You know, like I'm funny and I'm entertaining at times because I'm an entertainer. But these comedians, this is literally their job to try to be as funny 95% of the fucking time, right? And I think about that right there. Like, I'm like, for me, it's not a reality. It's like, you know, I do what I do on my stream or what I do in my videos, and I don't have to go too in with my jokes. But then it's like, I kind of get off of that. And it's like with, like, you know, your peers or people in your life, your jokes are a bit more extreme and go ham. Probably the stuff that the comedians, like, want to do on stage and do, like Dave Chappelle, for example. That's what's crazy to me is they kind of gotta go, like, not they kind of gotta go there. Some of the deep, like the darkest jokes are the realest jokes. Everyone understands this. So it's like they do it for a living. And it's like, I feel that because it's like, I don't have to get on and make deep jokes and do stuff like that. I don't have to do that. They kind of like have to, because that's where like the content lies. Just as I forget his name. Is it Chris Rock? Yeah, but like he said, it's really boring and mundane and a lot of unfunny people. And when you get to the edge of your jokes, that's where the fun is. So it's
I don't know. The climate is iffy, if you will. But you know, as far as me personally, I think the sake of the joke was everything to me. And now that we've kind of have this perspective of people's feelings or get hurt, and I will defend humor until the end, because it's a very important way to communicate.
Yeah.
And just because someone's saying something that's offensive doesn't mean they're being offensive. They're trying to communicate something. So I wish, I don't know, we're in weird times, but I was saying the sake of the joke was everything for me, and I've personally had to reevaluate that now. I don't know if the joke is as important as this thing we're all trying to figure out, which is how can we have fun with each other. I don't know, we're in a tough, this is a tough spot. I obviously I don't have any, I don't know what I'm saying. It's a weird time. But I think if things are funny enough, it trumps PC-ness.
Yeah.
It can.
Yeah, it is difficult.
Yeah, that's what sucks. But that's true. Like it's such a tough thing to really you don't know how to respond. That's like what I feel like when I get a tough question that's like a really huge ass middle ground for something, because it's like it really comes down to some like human shit. It's really human shit, and it sucks on one of the biggest things that's like should be just you can't really say it. Like I feel like him. It's really hard to say, but the underlying thing that it comes to is definitely that the generations have gotten softer, and I feel like I don't know if that could be some weird like thing. I'm just saying, it's honestly weird, but political correctness is America's newest form of intolerance, and it is especially pernicious, I've never seen that word, but because it comes disguised as tolerance, and it presents itself as fairness, yet attempts to restrict and control people's language with strict codes and rigid rules. I'm not sure that's the way to fight discrimination. I'm not sure if silencing people or forcing them to alter their speech is the best method for solving problems that go much deeper than speech. Whoa, that is a hard quote from George Carlin. That sounds clean. Yeah. It's like a double-edged sword. Or like all of this, double-edged axe, double-edged, whatever the fuck you want to say, but it's literally there's just two. It's really like holy shit. It's like, yeah, let's just continue with the video. But yeah, I definitely feel my certain types of way about it, because I get caught doing this during my stream. I'm like a literal a victim of this, because I want to have a stream like when on Twitch where I can build a community of people where everyone feels welcome. Same with the YouTube channel. And there are certain people that are followed to me in this. Actually, I said this to myself as one of my mods talked with someone new to the stream, that I say to myself, like, that moderator I know to be cool, but it's like I do have people that are followed to me on Twitch that when I met them in the beginning of my journey were reckless. Like I kind of have like some like real huge jokers on there, and it puts me in a position where I'm like, okay, this kind of person that these side of my followers see me as are probably not the same person as these people see me as. So it's like that's almost like where this hits me, is I'm like, holy shit, like, am I gonna start having to censor the people who are a little bit extreme? Am I, like, it's a lot. But I honestly just let go and say I don't care and just continue to be myself. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know. There hasn't come a day where I've seen this yet.
It's a nonsense to believe that some people deserve never to be offended their whole life. It's great, and even in universities, there's people that I mean, we're better to hear different ideas and argue. The great thing about freedom of speech, if an arsehole is being an arsehole, you've got the right to call him an arsehole. It's great. And it goes on. It's a good system. It really is a good system, and I think you don't close down free speech because it's offensive. You argue with it. You have more free speech, and you expose the people. And I think that's the only way to do it. You shouldn't pave the jungle. You should make people bulletproof towards it, and it'll give them It's about education and confidence, and it's just crazy. And there are loads of caveats
He seems like
that we all agree with. You should.
I know. I don't know. I can't remember his name, but I know.
Incite violence. There shouldn't be. People shouldn't libel you. Shouldn't slander you. Food additives. Watershed. These are all good. But what isn't good is you shouldn't say anything that someone will be upset about. That's too vague. It's too vague. And then you get tit for tat. People saying, well, if I can't do that, then you can't do this.
Yep, that's what I was saying.
It goes back and forth.
It goes back and forth.
It's all about people wanting to be heard.
These days with your comedy, do you...
I'll let it play out, and then I'll give my whole final thing on it.
Walking on eggshells at all? Do you feel more nervous about stuff you tweet and stuff you say just because of the climate we're in and everything that's happened?
Yeah, we're going to go do stand-up right now. It's mostly trying out new stuff. You don't have the freedom to just talk and free associate and then, carve it back from there. Because usually the process would be you go way over the line.
Yeah.
And then you bring it, and then people go, we hate you. And then you take away all the parts where they hate you, and then you're left with the stuff that's not, that's on the line but not over it.
Is your starting point a little bit more sort of tamer these days?
Oh, yeah. It's very calculated and thought out. And
does that hurt your act, though?
Yeah, it's way less funny.
Is that right?
Other than it being not as funny, it's wonderful. It doesn't hurt anyone's feelings anymore, but virtually no one laughs. So it's a trade-off.
But so that's really hurt your career in terms of the fact that you're an eggshell comedian. And I don't think
I'm an egg. Is that a new term?
I just made it up just now. Shouldn't comedy be some sort of sacred place where you're allowed to say whatever's kind of on your mind, and if it's funny, then it's okay?
It used to be, like Jerry Seinfeld always says, the audience will let you know.
Yeah.
When it's gone too far, because they're a cross, representation of the population.
Yeah.
But now it's not enough to get 99%. You have to get 100%. Most of the audience wants to be funny. Doesn't care about anything but that. They just want to escape.
Yeah. They just want to escape.
A group of people.
Tiny.
Ruin it for everyone.
Like you said, a tiny group of people ruin it for everyone. That's actually yeah. I agree with a lot of what all of them are saying. I mean, how can you not? The biggest thing for me is, because I talk about this in videos, and how people ask me, how am I so chill? And even my mom was like, you should almost teach people how to be more relaxed and laid back. And a lot of things is finding out what your triggers are and deal with them head on, and understand why these things trigger you. What trauma is this? Where does this come from in my life that this bothers me? Because same thing I just got done telling someone, you cannot trigger me. You cannot trigger me. I am so zen, and I have to stand in that shit for myself. It's not being an ego thing or anything like that. I have to stand in that person I am now, because I've been through so much in my life, and still stayed the same, unshaken, unmoving, keeping a cool head. So I understand the things that you really have to keep a cool head through. And I understand that these all stem from background things. A lot of these triggers and traumas stem from trauma. It stems from your background. So you have to go into your traumas, understand why these things trigger you, and undo them, and understand that these are all choices. You really choose to get triggered at something. You do. If there's something you don't like, just don't pay attention to it. Be like, all right, whatever, and move on. it shouldn't be that serious to where it's like the one part that I disagree with him with though, and this isn't, again, I say this is not about agreeing or disagreeing. Arguing is one of the most pointless things anyone could do. There's no point to argue about anything, and there's no one who can argue me on that. You do not gain anything from arguing. There's a difference when we talk about like making like come into like agreements or like some sort of like where it's like maybe large scale things we think about, where it's like big ideas we got to do, or agree and to disagree on some stuff. But arguing stuff is a waste of energy for both sides at the end. Every time. Coming from someone, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm not going to go too deep into my stories, but what I mean is just like there is no point for them. It's waste of energy. It's waste of energy. You're not winning. Both sides lose. And I feel like it takes a real wise person to see, like, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying because I've been called wise beyond my years. And that is something I noticed super young, is that before there was someone that I respected who ended up finally saying, like, I heard someone other than myself actually say it. And it was almost like the confirmation that I needed to really say that. The arguing is pointless. What are we arguing about? But yeah, so that's a big advice to people who want to understand how to, you really have to go into your trauma, understand why things trigger you, to really master yourself on not getting triggered. When you see the root of triggers, solve for the root, solve for that root problem, dig it up. And don't go all the way back, but everything that we experience in reality, it stems from stuff that's really deep buried in our subconscious. So yeah. Alrighty. That's it for me. Okay. I'll see you. I just played my intro nice, but I'll see you. Peace.